Good afternoon and welcome to Biz Buzz with Bruno, presented by the wonderful madstheater.com. Happy 4th of May, and all the other jokes that go with the 4th be with you, and Kentucky Derby Day, and the day before Cinco de Mayo. But we're here today with Verona Area Community Theater with the lovely and talented Dee Baldock and my new best friend, Jerry Neviser of the Neviser dynasty of Madison. Thank you both for coming today. Welcome. So, Dee, first of all, let's talk about you, because we like talking about you. Okay. So let us know a little bit about you, what your background is, where you're from, what you're doing now, and how you've got involved with VACT.
All right. So I'm originally from Iowa. So, of course, my favorite musical is Music Man.
Of course.
And we moved here in 72. And, but when my kids were in high school, I decided it was time for me to get back into theater. And so I looked in the paper and saw that there were auditions for older people. So I went into a show in Oregon, and the whole time that I was going to that show, I thought, Verona's big enough to have their own theater. And I just kept saying, Verona's big enough to have their own theater. So the Verona Press must have heard that I said that. And so they called my home and said, we heard your son was going to start a musical theater. Oh. And my husband said, oh, no, my wife. So they did an article on me that I was going to start a theater in Verona. And so I did.
Wow. So what drew you from coming from Iowa to...
Oh, my husband got a job at the university.
Ah, okay.
He was an agronomist, and so he got a job at the university, so that's why we came here. And we settled in Verona because we had 2 kids, and we looked at schools and thought that was a good school, so that's why we settled in Verona. And so anyway, in 92... I got tricked into starting a community theater. And at that time I was playing in the community band, and so one of the people in the community band with me joined me, and so they did a meeting of anybody that's interested in community theater, come to this meeting. Well, a lot of people came, but when they realized that there was nothing done yet and they had to do the work, they all disappeared. So I started a community theater really not knowing what I was doing. And I remember asking my children, what is this blocking thing?
Wow.
I really knew nothing.
I still don't know.
So the first year, I just did a 1-act and some music. So I gathered some women and a few men, and we sang some stuff, and then we did a 1-act show. And I put both of my kids in because they were in high school. So that's what we did the first year. And I always say that we started Verona Community Theater on $125 because that's what we had, was $125.
Wow. And were you doing it at the old Verona High School, at the high school then? Or were you at some other
So that was right in the time that they were building the new, and so we actually did the first 2 shows in the step room in the middle school.
Oh, wow.
Because they were tearing down the old high school theater. And so we actually did. And then the next year, I decided, now we're going to do a musical. We had some money because that $125 turned into more money. So we had some money. And then I had done several grants with Dane County Cultural Affairs Commission, which is now called Dane Arts. And so I knew how to write grants. So I wrote us a grant and decided that we would do, I knew I had women. I knew I could get kids. So what musical do you pick? Sound of Music.
Ah, perfect.
So I had lots of nuns. And I had lots of kids, and every kid that was cast, I double cast, so I had 2 sets of kids, had a father, and I went to the father and I said, do you think you could do 1 line? Do you think you could do 2 lines? So that's 2 men showed up for auditions, and one of them happened to play the guitar. So
Perfect.
So he became the father. And so that's the start of VACT. And I always like to say we started with $125 and one show, and now we have 10 shows a year.
That is great.
Yeah. And we still run mostly on volunteers. It's just amazing the size we are that we still run mostly on volunteers. We've gotten involved at the national level. Our kids have gone to nationals, and they actually put me in for a national award. Wow. So, and you know the ACT Fests.
Mm-hmm. Very well.
And so, and it's just those competitions are really fun. So anyway, that's the growth that we have done. We now do 5 kids shows, and that was a process too. We started with, one little kid show, and then 2 little kids shows, and then those kids grew up, and then now we got a high school show, and then we had a spring season. Well, why don't we do a fall season? So now we do 2 in the fall, 3 in the spring.
And you now have your own space.
And now we have our own space. Well, actually, we had a building before that.
Oh, you did? Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, we had a building on Bruce Street. So it was a Clary building. It was, not anything fancy, but it was a rehearsal space. We didn't perform there. Mm-hmm. But before that, everything was stored in people's garages. Mm-hmm. Watts Landscape had a whole lot of stuff. My house was full of stuff. So the first building got all that stuff in one place, which was really nice. In the old days, we used to have to, it took a whole day just to gather what we needed from all the places where it was stored.
Sure.
And we built all our sets in the high school. Well, they would never let us do that anymore, but in those days they let us. And our set just sat there until we needed it, and they worked around us. Now we move in a week before, and we can barely get in time now. So it's really good that we have our own space to do all the performing. And some are rehearsing, some performing too, but most of our performing is at bigger spaces because ours only holds 115, I think.
But it's a beautiful space.
It's a beautiful space.
It really is.
Yeah.
Agreed.
So the first building, we had one big space that was where we stored things, where we built things, and where we rehearsed. It was everything. And now where we build things and where we store things is different than where we rehearse. So it's really, and I think we did a really nice job when we designed that building because it does meet our needs everywhere.
It's well laid out,
yeah.
for sure.
So that is where VACT has come from and where it's gone, and I'm very proud of what we've done.
It's there are so many community theaters that that start out, like I say, in a church basement or in a school or a middle school, and how I've even seen it progress. When the first time I came out to do shows, my old show, when you were still just using the high school, the old high school, now the big beautiful new megalopolis Verona high school. So it's really encouraging to say that there's been that kind of support and how your company has grown.
Yeah, and I have to say that Verona has been so supportive from day one. They really have. I don't know if all cities are as supportive as they have been with us, but they have been from the very beginning. And the school has been really, especially in the beginning, was really very supportive of us when we were getting started. They really let us do a lot of stuff that a lot of theaters wouldn't get.
Sure.
And then the city was wonderful. Both of our buildings have sat on city land. The first one on Bruce Street sat on city land, and the one that we're on now is on city land. So we have a land lease on that land. So really, really good support from the city.
That's important.
Yeah.
That's really important. Yeah. That's great. Wonderful. So, Jerry, now that you've sat there so patiently hearing the Dee Baldock story.
It's a wonderful story.
It is a wonderful story. It's a great story. Tell us your story now.
Okay. Well, I was born in Madison, so I'm a resident of Madison, and my family moved up here from Virginia before I was born. But so that was in the early 1960, I think it was. I was born shortly after that. I was surprised. But,
Yeah, me too.
so I grew up
Me too.
I knew the Three Musketeers were all surprised.
I knew we had something in common here. So,
True confession.
but my father was always a very big fan and a big supporter of theater. He was very involved in children's theater at Madison when they were happening, and he used to take us to that. When American Players Theater started out, we went up there. I think we saw the second year that they had it. I've gone pretty much every year since. I've always been a huge fan. Having said that, I haven't actually performed on that stage. I've always been in the audience. But I was also I've been a musician, a professional musician most of my life, and been in a number of bands. I'm a drummer, and so that's where I get my stage experience from until this wonderful opportunity presented itself. So I really enjoy theater, and I never really thought it was something that I could do, to be completely honest. But I have a daughter who is very good and very free and easy with herself on stage. She's very good, and she's done a lot of, she did children's theater at Madison and VACT, and also Verona High School, which has a wonderful theater program. So I'd go watch her. And she used to ask me, because I had the experience of auditioning often. And she'd ask me, she'd say it was really hard, and I'm not sure how to do this. Do you have any suggestions? And I would give her suggestions. And she'd say, it's not that easy, Dad. It's really hard. I'm like, yeah, I know it is. I've done it. And, just you do this and you try to do this and this sort of thing. So eventually it got to the point where she was frustrated with me because it was really hard and I didn't seem to understand. She said, Papa, you should try this. Because you would see how hard it is.
Famous dare.
Right, it was a dare. It was a taunt. But then she did the right thing, very well placed. I also think you'd probably be pretty good at it. You should. So then I thought, well, okay. So a number of years pass, and this opportunity with Verona Area Community Theater with the senior plays came up, and I thought, well, I qualify. It would be a good opportunity for somebody who's never done that. I mean, I don't really have stage fright, but I've never acted, so let me see if that'll work. So I came for the first show that you did 3 years ago, The Music Man. From Iowa.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Why did I pick that first?
And so I tried out, and my daughter was right. I was petrified. But I did okay, and I got a role. And I got to say that in all of my stage performance as a musician, this was truly, sorry guys in the band, but this was truly the most fun I've had on stage in my life. It was absolutely wonderful. The group, well, first of all, Dee, the whole group from the perspective of directing and the staff there are wonderful. They make you feel so at home. It's very supportive. It's good direction. And then secondly, the group of players has been just a wonderful set of friends. We've become the closest friends. They're so fun to work with, and there's so much talent there. A lot of these people have a lot of experience, but there's always a contingent that come in like me, and they haven't done this since maybe high school or whatever. Mm-hmm. But it's all bottled up inside, and they get to let it out, and there they are, and they're doing a great job. And so it's been an incredibly wonderful experience. I'm really a very big fan of being able to play, but also being able to do this particular type of thing as a senior show.
And the unique thing about this particular play and the other two plays is that it's the senior production.
Correct.
So it's casting for people that are, is it 50?
55.
55. 55 and over.
Yeah.
So that's not that senior. No.
Not anymore.
Yeah,
Gosh.
yeah.
I know, not anymore. So
I call them the youngins.
You're the baby in the group.
Well, I did have to do a fake ID to get in. But that's another story. I'm just kidding. I'm well qualified.
My husband is a drummer too. So when we first met, and he had no concept of musical theater. He would go to see a couple of the shows at the Overture, and he'd seen shows, but he didn't have the the background. He hadn't done any shows. He hadn't even gone to see it. And then when we first met, I said, well, you've been on stage. And he goes, no. I said, you're a drummer. You've been on stage. When you're up there, you have a persona.
That's right.
That persona that you're doing, you have cast members, your band. So I said the similarities, it's not like you're going to have stage fright when you get up there. I mean, it's a different thing because it's just you standing there.
Right.
But you had the experience of being on a stage.
Right.
And
this is very true. And I did not understand that either. So I was convinced that the two didn't meet. But you're absolutely right. It was very easy. Plus the musical component. Right. So
exactly.
Rehearsing the music, it's all very natural.
Right. It's not like you're going to get up there and do Hamlet. And do Shakespeare.
Yeah.
You have the musicality because you're a musician.
Yeah.
So you understand the music, you understand that part of it. And I think that's the thing that's nice about that is that you have that commonality.
Right.
So what bands have you drummed with?
So my main band, if you will, has been called Primitive Culture Band in Madison. We've been around since I think our first show was 2002. So we just celebrated a 20-year anniversary. And we used to play a lot, kind of a regional but mainly local act, but we've done a lot of big stages. And another band I've done is called Bluegills, and that's a completely creative, write your own music band. Primitive Culture had a mix. We did some covers. We highly interpret our covers, but and then some original. But Bluegills is all original. We did a couple records, and we've taken that out on stage too, and that's been really fun. Let's see, I did an electronic band called State 4 back in 2000. And then what else? Hot Money Band was another one we did locally.
I love that, Hot Money Band. That's a great name.
It was a band that was done by two professors from UW-Madison in economics. And so Hot Money.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah, that actually has meaning. So
it certainly does.
I got to learn a thing or two about economics. But that was a very successful. We didn't last long, about 3 years, and then our lead singer, who was fantastic, moved to Chicago to do production. But anyway, so we've had, actually, I was in 4 bands at one time, and my wife let me know that that's probably too many bands.
I was going to say,
that's
what a wife.
It's not like you're taking a piccolo with you. You got to schlep those drums around. That was my
always the first to arrive and the last to leave.
Right. Same thing. It's like, oh my God, I got to go and take all my stuff and pack all that stuff away. And it's like,
but I do want to say though, it's important that as a prerequisite. Being a musician or being anyone on a stage is not really necessary. I've seen these amazing people come in who just have always loved this, and they come in and they just roll with it. And I think the supportive environment that they're in really helps people shine. It's been a wonderful experience.
So dovetailing on that, I don't know, I had the word tail in it. Tell me what the difference is in doing a senior production with doing a regular production of the show, other than the fact that these are all seniors.
Well, so how I discovered it was I went to the National Act Fest when it was Rochester, Minnesota. I thought, it's so close, I have to go. So, and there was a fellow there who had started doing, MTI has these shortened shows called juniors that are an hour long. So they take a 2-hour show and make it an hour. They also take those 2-hour shows and make them a half hour and call them kids.
Whoa.
It's amazing. So I direct those kids shows with 2nd through 5th graders. But anyway, so I discovered that MTI was letting you do the juniors as seniors. So they're about an hour long, and sometimes they cut out verses. They cut out a lot of dialogue. Dialogue.
Yeah.
Just enough dialogue to get you to the song. And so anyway, I discovered it, and I came home to the board, and I said, there is this neat thing you can do with seniors. And the board said, yeah, go for it. And so you can't just go online and get them. You have to ask special permission to get the seniors. They were going to roll them out faster, but in 2020, because of the COVID thing.
Yes, the dark years.
Nothing happened for a few years. They'll get around to it. So our scripts still say junior on them, but
we cross it off.
The J becomes an S.
I just put little tags over them that say SR instead of JR. So they're really great little musicals. And they come even with ideas for choreography. So I've been my own choreographer for most of the time because seniors are a little scared of the word choreography, so I call it movement.
There you go.
And so we can do that, And so this year I actually brought a real choreographer on. Alexa Schaefer came on and did the Spanish Panic, because that one I didn't know if I could do that one. And she did a great job.
Yeah,
Probably the
wonderful.
best choreography in the show is her choreography. So next year when we do Grease, she'll have to come. So anyway, we have a music director that teaches the music, and then we have me as the choreography, and Alexa, who did some, and then I have the best producer in history. She is so good. She takes care of all the other details, and then we have a dance captain to die for, because she does special work with everybody so they get that movement, and I'm just really amazed what she does with them. So it's
And do you perform these to tracks, or is it with a piano band?
Tracks.
Yeah. And the tracks obviously must be different than the regular tracks you would get when you get the full musical, right? Because are they condensed?
They're condensed.
Yeah.
They're the junior tracks. They make
the junior
special
tracks. Okay, gotcha.
special tracks for the juniors. And at one point, when we did the first one of them, I had heard through the grapevine that they were going to do the seniors shows only with piano. And I wrote them a letter and said, don't do that, because those tracks are beautiful.
Yeah.
We're performing to a whole orchestra.
Oh, it's a good thing you did that.
Yeah.
No, that would have been terrible.
Yeah. So, and I don't know why, a lot of the senior things that happen in like nursing homes.
Right.
And
Yep.
so in those cases, but there is a piano score, so you can choose to do it with piano. We just choose not to do it with piano. We do it with the tracks.
Right. And if you're doing, you're doing musicals that you want to have that full sound in it.
Yes.
And you have to get the orchestration for that.
Yeah.
If you're doing the Fantastics, you can get away with doing a piano and maybe a drum.
Yeah.
You don't have to have the harp, but it's nice to have it in there.
Yeah.
But there are small musicals that you can get away with that sound
Right.
Or even if it's a keyboard.
Yeah.
Because keyboards nowadays, as you well know, they can make it sound like an entire orchestra.
Well, these days the pits are full of keyboards.
Right. Exactly.
Just recently there's often 4 keyboards in the pits. I just saw the teen show Anastasia.
Oh,
And it was a full orchestra. It had all the instruments, but 4 keyboards.
4 keyboards. Wow, that's amazing.
Just about all the new musicals have so much stuff written in keyboards.
And really, if you look at our ensemble and the full cast when they're singing, there's a lot of very, very strong, capable voices too. We would have drowned that piano right out.
Yes.
You need that.
That's
wall
true.
of sound in
That's
this
true.
group.
That's true.
So, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say that when you said the strong voices, in our little facility, I don't know if we'd even need to be mic'd, but we get a lot of seniors that come, and then we have the hearing assist. So if they're on the mics, then they have the hearing assist, and it really works really well. Also, people have come to appreciate mic'd things.
Agree.
So,
And I think there's some balancing that can be done there. It's
Yes.
a little better quality sound then.
yeah. So,
So tell me a little bit more about, if people don't know the plot or know about Once Upon a Mattress,
Once Upon
and
a
about
Mattress,
your
yeah.
character in that show.
Okay. Well, Once Upon a Mattress is it's based on the Princess and the Pea, the fairy tale by Hans Christian Andersen, 1835, I believe it was. This is sort of a telling of that story by the people who were actually there. So ostensibly, this is how it really happened. Okay, and and I think, by the way, I think our princess is far more realistic as a princess than what you would have found in the fairy tale. Am I right?
you mean Ellen? Yes.
Yes.
Yes. She, who's famous for this role is Carol Burnett.
Exactly.
But Ellen really does a wonderful job with it.
Right. Yeah, so this was a Broadway show that came out in 1959. Carol Burnett was Winifred, the princess who comes, and they were the wonderful players. And they did a couple of TV versions of this as well, as many people probably know, and many people have seen it too, including me. But it was a wonderful way to see Carol Burnett's whole persona. She really made, I think, Winifred in that original thing, and so you see it being carried forward. It's a wonderful role and our player, and that's Ellen, is fantastic in this role.
Yes.
So I play Prince Dauntless. I'm the love interest, or she's my love interest, I should say. Well, it goes both ways, right? Eventually. So I'm Prince Dauntless. I like to say I'm not exactly dauntless. I'm more daunted in this thing at first, but I am under the control of the Queen, and the Queen, of course, doesn't want me to marry for number of reasons, perhaps nefarious, but so she is preventing me from getting a princess. They have to be tested. Every princess has to be tested. Winifred comes in and busts the doors wide open, both with me and with the test. And the final test that they do, of course, is the pee in the mattresses thing. And of course, you'll have to see the show to see how it all works. But
I didn't notice this on the logo. There is a P under there.
There is. Yes, there is. A very big P.
That's a very big P. I mean, even I would feel that. But there's some trickery there as to how it works. So but it's a wonderful depiction of how a princess should be, and boy, do I love her. It's a wonderful role, and I'm enjoying it. It's different than other roles that I played that were more outgoing. I'm much more, controlled by this person. I'm sort of, suppressed, and I have to kind of come out of my shell, and so that's kind of interesting.
And did you do both the Music Man and Singing in the Rain?
I did, yeah.
And what roles were you in those?
I was very lucky to get Marcellus Washburn in Music Man. Wonderful role. I love Buddy Hackett.
Baby.
Yeah, I did the Shapoopy. I mean, I lived for that. It was wonderful. And then last year in Singing in the Rain, I got to play Cosmo Brown, which is just an astonishingly interesting character to me. And I did toy with the idea of running up the wall and flipping backwards. But at this stage of the game, the movement people said that wouldn't be wise.
Right.
We vetoed
and the insurance people probably wanted to
either. Frankly, I knew I couldn't do it. But we came up with some other interesting twists on that. But both those characters were sort of, kind of sidekicks that were maybe a little off color at times. And so it was a fun role to play. So this is very different.
And so what's been the rehearsal process? I'm assuming that since you're dealing with people that are probably maybe retired, they have a little more time, but did you have a regular like 6 to 8 week rehearsal period for it?
So actually, because some of them are still working, because 55.
Well, that's true. It's the new 80.
Yeah.
No, 80's the new 55.
Yeah.
Or 55 the new 80.
Yeah.
I'm very confused.
I'll tell you when I get there.
Okay.
So we actually only rehearse 2 nights a week.
Oh.
But we have a longer period. We started in January and aren't performing until, or did we start in February? We started in February. We start in February, but we don't perform until May.
Ah, okay.
Right.
And one of the reasons is that the seniors are retired travel, and they're gone.
Oh, sure.
And
There's a lot of vacationing going on.
Yes.
Yeah.
So my Mary and the Librarian was gone for a whole month. But she came back strong. She was probably the strongest character in that show. So this year she was gone for 7 weeks, so she didn't get to be in it this year. But they traveled a lot of times, 2-3 weeks gone, and I don't discriminate against it because they're seniors.
Right. And who wants to be in Wisconsin during January, February, and March?
Yeah.
I mean, we go, we snowbird, and we get out of here.
Yeah.
We could have off-site rehearsals.
There you go. There you go. There's a thought.
So anyway, it's a long rehearsal period, but only 2 nights a week. And 1 night a week is an all-call. And this group is so goody at partying that we always have to have a party every week after rehearsal.
Wonderful fun.
There you
wonderful
go.
fun. And I think it's a good bonding moment.
It is very
really
good bonding. And actually, several of the people have had ugly things that have happened in their life, and this group is so supportive of them.
Oh, that's great.
It's really wonderful that I heard somebody at rehearsal say my support group or something. And so, and of course, they were wonderful to me in my last year. And my music director, I told him, I said, my husband had cancer, and I said, who knows when I might have to just be gone. When I'm gone, you're it. He said, I'm okay with that. And so he's just been wonderful to lean on. And this year we have a music director and an assistant music director, and he's been wonderful also.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So,
and everybody, I think everybody just really, you have such a step up feeling from everybody.
Yeah.
Everybody really steps up. I think that the maturity, is there, and that everybody has a good work ethic.
Yeah.
And as I recall, when you did the first one, it was going to be one and done. When we first talked about it, I was like, I'm not doing this again. This is it. This is it. I'm only doing this one. And then somebody,
really?
Well, I remember having a conversation with you.
Well,
But then, you don't remember that? That all of a sudden you got talked into doing another one?
No, after that first one, I was, maybe during the process, I did take on a little too much that first time because I was the producer, the director, and all of a sudden it was like, oh, I'm the producer. I got to get ushers. So I had way too much on my plate. But if I said that, that would explain why other people thought that, but it became really clear to me that it wasn't going to be the end.
Well, after it was successful, right? But when we were talking about it, you were saying, oh my gosh, it's so much work.
Yeah.
And I was saying, yeah, because you're wearing 12 different hats.
I was wearing all the hats.
Yeah, you were
I was doing
but I can corroborate that because I remember before the show that you said, I'm not sure we'll be doing another one of these, but let's make the best of this one.
Yeah.
And then, but after the show was over, we were all clearly like, oh, we got to do this again.
And in fact, I think we were picking the show as we were finishing.
Right.
And then, of course, it was the COVID thing.
Right.
So
right.
On March 15th, we shut down. So we had already printed the T-shirts.
Oh, yeah, 2020. Yeah, that's right.
They said 2020. So they said May 2020 on the T-shirts. So then in the fall of 21, when things were starting to get started again, I said, okay, can we start? Everybody said, yeah. Well, by the time Dane County let us actually get together, they were all gone. They were traveling.
Oh, right.
So then we didn't get it together until 22. So I had on the T-shirt, I had them cross out the 2020, write 2021, cross it out, and then write 2022.
The show that wouldn't die.
Yeah.
Exactly. So there's a theme here. The junior becomes the senior, and then the 20s becomes out
yeah. Just keep crossing out things.
Right. And now the shows are formed in the VACT theater, right? Mm-hmm. And do we have the dates?
Yeah, 9, 10, and 11, and then 17, 18, 19
of May.
And there are no tickets available.
Yeah, we've sold out every year.
You're already sold out?
Yeah.
Wow, that's amazing. That's great.
Yeah, we have sold out. The first year, we only had planned to do 3 shows, and it was the matinee was sold out so fast that it was ridiculous. So we did 2 shows in one day. To make up for that. So we did a matinee, but it's just an hour show.
Oh, that's true. That's true. Right.
So we did a matinee and then an evening show on Saturday. So we did maybe we did we do Friday, Saturday, Sunday? We didn't do a Thursday show,
Correct.
I don't think.
I
think we did 4 shows the first year. And then I asked everybody, do you want to do, because you can do a Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Mm-hmm. You can get 5 shows in a weekend if you start on Thursday. Mm-hmm. And they said, no, let's do 2 weekends. So now we're doing a Thursday, Friday, Saturday, not Sunday because it's Mother's Day.
Ah, right.
And then the next weekend we're doing a Friday, Saturday, Sunday matinee. And we should do more matinees. Next year I think we'll do all the Saturdays and Sundays will be matinees because those are the most popular.
That's a good idea. Yeah, and the matinees are always really popular.
Yeah.
People making.
Yeah. So
on the weekends, they have so much going on.
And we really can't add another matinee because the summer show is going in.
And speaking of the summer show, what a great segue.
Perfect. Well placed.
Let's talk about Seussical, the musical.
So, what a fun show. Just what a fun show. I actually auditioned.
There you go.
I'm 77, but I actually auditioned, and the staff for that is so well organized. It's just wonderful. And so I wrote down the dates. It opens June 21st, I believe. Yes.
Okay.
And she cast 70-some people. So it's a huge cast.
Wow. And I'm assuming this is in the new high school.
It'll be
where it can hold 70 people, right?
I think it's in the middle school.
Oh, the middle school. Oh, back in the
yeah.
middle
So
school.
we love doing our stuff there.
Well, it's a great stage.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a really good stage.
And it's like our home place. We've been there for so many years. So, but sometimes it's not available. Then we go to the high school. So, like our kids shows were in the new high school, but Anastasia was in the middle school. And so it goes back and forth by whatever's available. So I'm pretty sure the summer show will be in the middle school because it'll be available. So anyway, 70 people, a whole bunch of Who's. They're just hysterical. I got to see their choreography the other night. They're just so cute. And then I'm playing a parrot.
Lovely.
In the jungle.
Lovely typecasting.
I'm a parrot. And the music is so fun. And then, of course, Marcia not only is directing, Marcia Hari is directing it, but she also does the choreography. And she's such a good choreographer. Well, you know, because
one of my favorite choreographers.
Yeah. So I don't think I've missed a rehearsal yet, even though, because they rehearse on Monday, the all call is on Monday, and that's when the jungle people are called. So I've been doing that and then doing Wednesday and Thursday with the seniors. But I'll miss all the rehearsals this week because we have Tech Week.
That's right, the lovely Tech Week.
Yes.
This Thursday is our first, yeah.
So the other thing about Seussical is the talent. I've just been so impressed. It's all those young'uns. But they're so darn talented. I'm just so impressed with everything with it. And the JoJos are so cute and so good. And so, yeah, it's going to be a fun show.
So is Seussical the end of this season?
Yes.
The last show of this season?
Yeah.
Have you announced your next season yet? Or has that not been announced formally?
So we know some of it.
Okay.
I don't know if all the kids' shows are official yet. I'm doing Magic Treehouse, Dinosaurs Before Dark with the 2nd through 5th graders in the fall. And do I know? We're doing 9 to 5.
Oh, fun.
And... oh my, this is embarrassing.
That's okay. It'll be on the website, right?
Yes, it'll be on the website. Yeah. But we have, and the summer show is Joseph. I know that for sure.
My favorite show.
Yes.
I love doing that show.
I know what the other one is too, but it's not coming to me. Oh, I know what the middle school is. They're going to do SpongeBob SquarePants.
And do you know what the senior musical is going to be?
I don't think that's... Oh, the senior?
Yeah.
Oh, I believe it's going to be Grease.
So you let that slip earlier. I want to corroborate that.
I didn't know that was firm. You heard it now.
Yeah.
You heard it now.
Yeah, there isn't a junior version, but there is a high school version of Grease. Concord has a high school version of Grease. So it's a slightly longer version than what we've been doing. It might be an hour and a half.
That'll be a good test, right?
Yes.
Yes.
I have a feeling we'll pull it off.
But, Marcia said to me, she said, Dee, you hate that musical. I hate the premise in that musical.
Oh, well, that's true.
It basically says, give up all your own self to be part of the gang, So but I think the seniors are past worrying about the gang. And the music is so beloved. So I did find actually Sarah found a junior version of it but they left out Summer Nights. And you can't do Grease without Summer Nights. So I suppose it was because it was a junior version and, Summer nights.
Oh, well.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
maybe
because the original is really dirty.
It's very.
I mean, the original Grease,
Yes.
the Broadway version is, it's not,
Yeah.
Olivia Newton-John and
Yes, exactly.
John Travolta being cutesy on film.
So the high school version cut out the pregnancy. Cut out the there are worse things I could do.
Oh, yep. And the mooning. Did they leave the mooning song
The
in?
mooning's in.
Oh, they left that in?
They left that
Isn't
in.
that funny?
Yes.
How interesting.
And I don't think they do it. They just sing about it.
Oh, well, that's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
And they
we
took,
could do it.
They took out all the bad language.
Oh, yeah, right.
Because for a high school version, so they took out all the bad language.
Right,
they took out the
right.
pregnancy, and we don't need that pregnancy.
Oh, true.
I know, especially with seniors, it would be awkward.
Wouldn't that be? It's a miracle.
So yeah. So I contacted Concord and said, I want to do this as a senior show, and they wrote me back. It's available for all ages, but I haven't actually applied for it yet. But if I can get it, that's what I'm going to go for. And then the year after that,
Wow. Okay.
well, we have these wonderful costumes for Mattress. We have all these knights and ladies' costumes, but I didn't want to use them right away. But the year after that, we could do something Rotten Junior.
Oh, I love that show.
Me too.
I love it
too.
So
I love that too.
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm looking way out there, and then I want to do Drowsy Chaperone sometime.
That's another good one.
Yeah.
That's another really fun one.
Yeah. So I don't think the senior show is going to die very fast.
No, but you got a good thing going. You want to keep it going. And if you're already
question.
sold out, it's like
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's.
We'd like to go to a bigger facility so we could sell more tickets, but in May there are just no places.
Well, that's true. Yes, that's very true.
All schools are full of concerts.
Yep.
Every single performing group. I used to be the PAC director in Oregon, and I know what May looks like.
Mm-hmm.
It's atrocious. So they just can't get us in. So we're just going to sell out. And if you want to see our show, get your ticket. Yep. So last year, anybody that walked in the door, we saw that they got to sit down somehow. But Sarah, who's the producer, does a wonderful job of, here's one ticket. If I switch this to this, to this, to this. Okay, here you go. She's just amazing how she gets people in.
Well, see, now what you have to do is you have to put a big tent out, like Melody Top does.
Okay.
And you can have a big, huge outdoor event, and you can have hundreds of seats.
So we did an outdoor show during the COVID thing.
Oh, you did?
Yes, we did. We did it in our parking lot.
Wow. See?
Yeah.
See? Additional seating in the parking lot.
Yeah.
I did not know that.
We did. It was towards the end of, well, I don't know when it was, but
2022, probably.
Yeah. Well, I think it was 2021.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I think it was the summer of 2021. I think and it was a non-musical, and we have an outdoor stage, so we just set up that outdoor stage and we hauled out chairs and we did a musical outside, or I did a show outside.
There you go.
We did a lot of stuff online.
Mm-hmm. Well, everybody did. Everybody had a transition to doing all the shows online.
Yeah, but that was a live show in the parking lot. And I was going to get a liquor license because I thought, we're outside, we could be drinking beer. And, well, if you do that, you have to put up a fence.
Oh.
Okay.
So that the beer can't go away.
Yeah. Yeah. And you can't have kids in there, can you?
We probably couldn't have kids if we were.
I think that's where you have to rope it off like that because you have to check
it's
IDs.
outside,
It's outside. I think that's a lot of it.
So anyway, we didn't.
Yeah.
I think we sold. What did we do? We sold it inside. I don't know what we did, but anyway, we didn't put up a fence. I know that.
And aren't we precariously located between the police department and the fire department?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly.
You have to adhere to the rules.
You don't want to be messing with the rules.
So wonderful. Well, you can't get tickets to go and see Once Upon a Mattress Senior because it's sold out.
Yes.
But you may try your luck and get a maybe.
You can certainly see Seussical.
You can certainly see Seussical. Well, thank you so much for
Because there'll
coming.
be 700 seats available every night.
Then you can bring your family.
Yes.
You can bring your extended
Yes,
family.
yes.
You can bring your neighbor's family.
Yes,
Good.
yes, yes.
Wonderful.
And
Thank you.
And there's Greece next year, don't forget. So
And Greece
still
coming
get-
up next year.
There you go.
Yeah, so you don't want to wait to get your tickets.
Well, God, no. It sells out so quickly.
Yes.
That's so encouraging.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Great.
Yeah.
Thank you both for being here. It's been a delight having you.
Thank you.
And
Thank you
I
very
can't
much.
wait to see what else happens at VACT. You never know what's going to happen.
Yes.
Excellent. Wonderful. Well, thank you, everybody, for joining us today. And we will see you in 2 weeks. Thank you, Jim. Thank you, Ben. And thank my lovely, lovely, lovely guests, Dee and Jerry. We'll see you next time.
Thank you.